So you hear it all the time where people say debt is bad, and some people even avoid it altogether. And that includes using credit cards and instead opt for paying with debit cards or straight up cash. But I'm here to tell you the truth about credit cards and why they could be bad when used incorrectly, but more importantly, how they could be putting thousands of dollars back into your pockets for little to no additional work. Just like how I received hundreds of dollars in rewards on just one perk on one of my many credit cards, just by using it on my everyday transactions. And that's part of how you use credit cards in a smart way, by buying what you can afford to pay off in full every single month, so you can avoid all those high percent interest APRs, late fees, or dings on your credit score. Because if you aren't using your credit cards properly, yes, that is bad. You will incur debt and be paying 20 to 30% in APR for your interest rates, which is not something you want to do. No perks or rewards will be enough to make that worth it. Even rewards aside, using credit cards is much safer than the alternatives of using debit cards or cash. If you're paying for anything in cash, once it leaves your hands, then you've given it over and good luck getting it back. Not to mention the hassle of having to bring cash around versus a metal or plastic card. And all of this is the same for debit cards too. Because if you're paying for something in debit card, that means the cash is directly taken out of your account right then and there. Once you pay for something, the other person or the other party has your money already, and you would have to go through a lengthy dispute to try and get it back. On the other hand, using credit cards is like having a buffer between you and the other party, where it's kind of like you're paying the credit card company and the credit card company is paying them. That's because there's that buffer where you charge your card within the month, then get a statement that you have to pay off at the end of the next month. And that period gives you time to dispute any issues that come up or fraudulent charges before it even gets taken from your actual bank account. Credit card companies usually side with the consumers in these cases. Back a few years ago on my Chase credit card, I got hit with fraudulent charges twice within a year. And both times I was able to resolve it with a 5 to 10 minute phone call where I provided information so Chase can then go do their own investigation. But more importantly, the charge was taken off of my statement right away. Fortunately, this was a small amount, but not being on the hook for these fraudulent charges could be very important for some people. Versus if you're paying with cash or debit, good luck trying to get that money back quickly. And in case you're wondering, these type of safety perks are pretty much standard on any type of credit card, including $0 no annual fee cards. But you might ask, hey, how are these credit card companies making all this money to have all these protections? Well, one, every time you swipe or tap that card, the merchant has to pay these companies a couple percent in transaction fees. So that's one way that these companies have income. And because almost everyone uses credit cards, they have a ton of data on all of us shoppers, meaning they know where you shop, what demographic you are, what type of things you buy, and how much you're spending, which is valuable data that they can then package up and sell to other companies. For example, holders of the American Express Platinum card have an average income of almost $500,000 a year and is a really attractive group of people that companies could advertise to. Now, with regular use of credit cards, not only do you have that buffer between you and the merchant, you'll also be doing yourself a favor by building your credit score. Credit score is really important in the US because that's a number that plays a key factor in important decisions throughout your life, like getting loans to buy a car, mortgages to buy a house, securing your ideal place to rent, or qualifying for premium credit cards, giving you even higher rewards. For example, a 1% difference in your mortgage rate could be a savings of $100 every single month of a 30-year mortgage. That's $36,000 in savings over the lifetime of that loan. Now, I have a video dedicated to breaking down the credit score and how to improve it, but here's a breakdown of what your score is made of, with the highest being payment history, so paying things on time, amounts owed, so how much of your available credit you're using, and a few other smaller categories. Basically, you want to have credit cards open that you pay off every single month and have a low utilization rate. Usually a rate lower than 30% is considered good, but anything under 10% is really excellent. So if you have 3 cards, each with a $10,000 credit limit, then if you're spending $3,000 a month, you'll be at a 10% utilization ratio, which is considered excellent. Starting early is also a key point here because credit history makes up 15% of the score. I'd suggest getting a credit card as early as you can and start using it regularly and paying it off on time. You can either start by getting a secured credit card or a student credit card if you qualify, and if not, try being an authorized user with someone you trust so you can start building your credit that way. When I was opening my first bank account in the US years ago, I was fortunate that the bank teller offered to open me a no annual fee credit card, which really kick-started my credit here in the US. And that's what allowed me to build my credit early to the point of having a score in the high 700s and being able to qualify for a bunch of amazing credit cards that have given me thousands upon thousands of dollars in rewards and benefits. Take my American Express Platinum card, for example, where when I signed up a few years ago, the sign-up bonus was 75,000 membership reward points. But nowadays, you can get up to 125 or even 150,000 points in some cases. At a bare minimum of 0.6 cents a point when redeemed for cashback, that's a value of $450 that I got. You're able to also redeem for travel through their portal at 1 cent a point, giving it a value of $750. But a better way to use these points is to transfer out to travel partners and redeem that way, which will easily get you a value of 2 cents a point or more. That would give my sign-up bonus a value of $1,500. In some cases, you can even get 5 to 10 cents a point in value, like spending 90,000 points to fly business class from Western US to Japan, giving you a value of almost 10 cents a point. Or my Chase Sapphire Preferred card that gave me 60,000 points for signing up and hitting minimum spend, with past offers as high as 80 or even 100,000 points. That's a base value of $600 or even $1,200 and up if you decide to go through the transfer partner route. Even if we put all these rewards aside, these cards have a lot of other ways that provide you value too, like getting statuses from my American Express Platinum card, where through some clever status matching, saved me almost $900 on my trip to Vegas through a ton of different credits and perks. Or more recently, because I have National Executive Elite, where I can basically get any car in the lot when choosing a rental, we almost got a Jaguar, but unfortunately it was too low on gas. Most, if not all debit cards won't give you anything near this type of value in benefits and rewards, and definitely not when you're paying with cash. That said, if you are finding these points too complicated, don't care about luxury travel, or just want something straightforward and simple, even if you're not getting the topmost value, then there are cashback credit cards too. I personally feel that you should always use credit cards when spending if you can, because with cards like the Citi Double Cash, it'll give you 2% back on everything you buy with no spend cap or restrictions. Or the Citi Custom Cash card giving you 5% back up to $500 a month in certain categories. Both of these cards have no annual fees and are relatively easy to get approved for. So if you can get these, there's no reason not to spend on these cards, because you're leaving money on the table if you're using debit or cash. Now, another thing most debit cards don't offer, and definitely not cash, is the consumer protections you get. How many times have you wanted to buy something both in stores or online, but afraid of the return policy? Maybe it's a final sale and you're worried about things not fitting, or the return window is too short. Well, some of the more premium credit cards offer what's called return protection, where if the retailer won't take back the item, you can claim it with them instead. I actually did this when I claimed return protection for a couple of shirts I bought that didn't fit. It took a few minutes to fill out all the forms, and I got credit back on my account for the exact amount. They didn't even ask me to send them back the item, so I technically still have them. Now, what if you bought AirPods, forgot them in your pockets, and ruined them in the wash? Well, for that, there's a perk called purchase protection that will reimburse you for the amount if you damage or have it stolen within the first few months. Or maybe you easily drop and damage your phone. Well, for that, there's cell phone protection that comes with cards that even have no annual fees, like the Freedom Flex. This is just the tip of the iceberg, but when you're in the credit card game, there's so many different cards with so many different benefits that you could explore and mix and match and see what works for you. You can mix cards from different issuers to find your optimal setup, or go with tried and true setups like the Chase and City trifectas that will give you a wide range of coverage with high value that I go more in depth on in this video. Whether you're a seasoned expert reaping in thousands of dollars in value from these cards, or you're just starting out with basic credit cards to build up your credit, have that safety buffer, and start earning rewards, credit cards are a great tool everyone should be using. And if you want something simple to kick off your credit card journey, then you'll want to check out this video where I break down some awesome cards that will build you a great foundation. That said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.